Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming to our presentation today. Today we'll be talking about travel influencers, or rather actually specifically travel bloggers, and the return on investment they can generate for the travel industry. So first of all, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Keith Jenkins, and I'm the CEO of iAmbassador, which is a global network of professional travel bloggers and influencers. And
yeah, my name is Melvin. Two unique things. This is my best WTM ever. First of all, I still have a voice. Normally my voice is gone after the first day. The second one, it's the first time with a tie.
Yay!
So,
Yay!
It was a birthday present for me. I told him, yeah, I'm going to wear it. People love it. It keeps them talking.
Yeah. And usually I'm the one with the tie on, but this year we've just kind of like switched roles, so that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, so just a little bit about iAmbassador. We are a global network of travel influencers. We have influencers, so these are travel bloggers, but also some Instagrammers, YouTubers, videographers, photographers, and they're spread out across the world in different markets, and they also operate in different niches, travel niches. So we've got bloggers specialized in like family travel, luxury travel, budget, you name it. A lot of them are in our network. So what we do is we work with a lot of tourism boards and companies to conceptualize and create marketing campaigns by using our travel influencers and bloggers in our networks across the world. And so here you can see some of our services. We do marketing campaigns with content creation and content marketing, and also a lot of education and advisory and consultancy services as well in influencer marketing. So why are we here today? We are here because in the past couple of months, actually, I keep seeing these discussions popping up on social media. And this is one headline I saw on Facebook not very long ago. Is influencer marketing dead? So I thought it was a bit disturbing because obviously my business is all about influencer marketing.
Well, you shocked me with that slide.
Yeah. So I thought, well, what's going on here? And obviously, you know, when travel bloggers first burst onto the scene maybe about 6, 7, 8 years ago, it was a new thing. Bloggers were hot, and everyone wanted to work with bloggers. And now we're seeing where bloggers are professionalizing, and there are things where industry and bloggers are having problems working together more effectively. And we see also some instances of the industry struggling to actually create value working with travel bloggers. So hence this session today. Another headline I saw, this was on LinkedIn just a few weeks ago as well. And well, you can read it. This lady paid $20,000 to an influencer and got 0 sales. And yeah, maybe we have a moment of silence on that wasted money. So that was my reaction. I wish she would have given me the $20,000 and I could have given her a couple of more sales. So hence the session today. And I think it's really important to, before we proceed, to go back to the basics. Why work with a travel blogger, right? I'm talking specifically about travel bloggers today because I feel that travel bloggers offer more value in terms of the number of platforms they operate on. So they have their travel blogs, they have their social media channels, and a lot of them also work with publications, etc. And they, in this sense, when you put it all together, I'm pretty convinced, actually I'm very convinced, that they provide more return on investment when you're working with a travel blogger. So let's explore the why. Why work with a travel blogger?
With the travel bloggers, you always have to see there's two ways of travel bloggers. So we work with iAmbassador with professional travel bloggers, but we also love to include in our campaigns the amateur bloggers who got a lot of potential, a lot of quality, but maybe not the reach yet. And there's you can work with all kind of bloggers, but we just always try with sessions like that to show you the best way how to go forward and to make use of that. The value of the travel bloggers is, first of all, we are very direct. When Keith had the first idea with iAmbassador and we started, there was the crisis in the Middle East.
The Arab Spring, yeah.
Yeah, the Arab Spring. So what happened there? Everywhere around there was like terror. It was going down, but Jordan was safe, and they got like.
But their arrival numbers were crashing as well. Yeah.
Yes, and the tourism board got like 16, 18 bloggers coming to the destination over the whole year, and they had lots of good content. And you said.
Yeah. So the first thing really, I mean, the first message when that campaign was the very first campaign our ambassador did was we needed to get the message out to the world very quickly that even though the Middle East was in turmoil, Jordan was still a safe place to visit. So the message was really it's a safe place. And the second message behind that was that there is so much to see and do in Jordan.
And I just been to Barcelona 2-3 weeks ago. I've been in the area many, many times. And before going there, I sent out, hey, tomorrow I'm going to Barcelona. And I got a reply, seriously, is that the right time to tweet about Barcelona? And I thought, wow, what a strange tweet. Of course, there was like terrorism in the summer, which you see sadly all over the world. They are trying, or not to, hopefully, to separate. But there's a lot of fear. But I was in Barcelona, and I could reply right away, saying, standing there, hey, it's totally fine here. When I was there, I saw nothing. Of course, there was like lots of people with a different kind of flags and a lot of talks about that, but it was totally safe. And that is something what you can show right away. You can show very immediate how the situation is. Not just like in crisis situation, like similar like these or whatever, but in any kind of way you can, at the moment you produce content on a long term, you can do also immediate content. It's a very personal perspective, like I said. People could react with me. They could ask me, how is it in the destination? If I take a very nice sunset photo, everyone says, okay, we love sunset photos. But then we can get in contact and how is it looking behind the sunset on the other side? And we can like really give tips and feedback to the travelers who are more interested.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's a big strength of bloggers. It's like, they're conveying their experience from a personal perspective. And I think that's what travelers are looking for as well. They're in search of authentic experiences, and I think that's what bloggers can convey to them because they're experiencing all these different activities and while they're traveling. So, travelers would follow a blogger just to be able to see what it really is like at the destination. And that's the personal perspective bloggers bring.
Very authentic. Yeah. And the bloggers, I mean, they are very, very busy. They reply on their blogs, on the comments, on Facebook, on Twitter, and all the different channels where you can really interact with them. Yeah, the social media reach. They act not just like on a single platform, but they do all of them. Especially what I would like to point out is also the long term, like on the blog articles. We'll get to that one later. Well, later is now.
Yeah, long term. Yeah.
And that is very interesting because like normally like you write a blog article, you put it online, and some bloggers get traffic because of a strong following kind of celebrity right away, but like a lot of content and reach the blog post gets over a longer time. So there's a real long time value. So if I put something on Instagram right now, okay, you get your likes, like that, next one, next photo. Yeah, but with a blog article, you can use it again and again. You can update it, and you get so much more traffic on a long term. Yeah. Really quality value.
And I guess it's indexed as well. So, anyone who's researching a holiday and they want to find out more about the destination will go to Google and they'll do the search. And chances are they'll land on a blog about the destination or the thing that they're searching for. And because it's online, it's there forever. I mean, a blog is there. A blog post is going to be searchable and it's going to be there for as long as the blog exists. So, in the longer term, even though, I have articles that are on my blog which are still being read even though they're almost 10 years old, right? So I think, the long shelf life is definitely also a big strength.
And the peer-to-peer. So, like I said, we are in contact with those people.
With our readers.
With our readers. So it's like a lot of the bloggers got like a niche. So, for example, like someone is really into food or into luxury, so they have this kind of audience and they feel the same way and they can like identify with each other. And through the communication, it's like a very strong peer-to-peer talking with each other.
Yeah, and with bloggers, I think, people read blogs because they identify with the travel style of a blogger. So like, for instance, I'm a luxury travel blogger, or you can visit my blog if you'd like. It's velvetescape.com, Velvet Escape. And people follow me because they can identify with the way I like to travel. I like to stay in nice hotels and eat at good restaurants. And also, I love a lot of nature. I love art and architecture. And so people come to my blog, they follow my blog because they can identify with that. So over time, and through interaction as well via social media and via the blogs, the blogger actually develops a relationship, a trust relationship with the reader. And so whenever a blogger says that, well, I've eaten this restaurant, I think it's fantastic, chances are, if a reader is reading that and can identify with the travel style of the blogger, that the reader will also follow that blogger's recommendation for that restaurant.
Yeah, it's not like an Amazon review where you think, oh, who's that?
Yeah, you have no idea who that is on TripAdvisor.
And I think also like what you actually have experienced, a lot of people read blogs without knowing it, like your neighbor.
Yeah, my neighbor. Yeah.
Your neighbor. What happened?
Well, what happened was when I talk to people and they ask me, what do you do? I say, I'm a blogger, I'm a travel blogger. And blog, what is that? I never read blogs. And it was actually my neighbor. I bumped into him on the street one day. And he told me that, he doesn't read blogs. And I said, well, when you're going on a holiday somewhere and you're doing a research online, where do you do your research? And he says, well, I just Google it. Oh, okay. So, and he told me this instance where a couple of weeks before he went to Barcelona and he was looking for markets in Barcelona because he loves markets. And then he was telling me about this article on a website that was perfect for him because it listed all these different markets in Barcelona with recommendations of where to go and what to eat at which stall and all that. And I said, oh, wow. So it was a person that wrote this article because it was in the me form? You say, yeah. Well, that sounds very much like a blog to me. So, so a lot of times people just don't realize that they've actually landed on a blog. And yeah.
Yeah, and the bloggers, they use all different kind of media channels. They produce different kind of content. They might do videos, they do podcasts, they write, they take photos. And they share those different kind of content on different channels again, like on the different social channels, which we all know, and especially on their blogs.
Yeah, and there are bloggers as well who write for publications like Lonely Planet. There's the Pathfinders program, and also like different magazines and newspapers. The bloggers work as freelance writers, and we also have bloggers like Rochelle, the Travel Bite in the U.S., who has her own TV show. So sometimes it's not only limited to the content they produce for their blogs or their social media channels, but they also offer exposure through other channels they work with.
Or Lola with National Geographic.
Yeah.
So there's many, many examples like those. So yeah, the ideas and concepts.
ROI in the bag, yeah.
Because like on meetings and conferences like that, we love brainstorming and we come up with many, many different kind of ideas and concepts. So we'll go a bit, and that's also like, because we are travelers. We know the digital life, we know the kind of nomad life, we know what works and what not, and we can be very creative, just like, by meeting each other up, discussing, and suddenly you come up with ideas and new concepts.
And conversions. I think, a lot of bloggers, as a form of income, subscribe to affiliate programs. And this could be for OTAs like Booking.com or like Skyscanner for flights. And what is interesting about this is, or even Amazon, obviously, another big one. And so whenever someone reads a blog post and there are links to these products, maybe to book a hotel or book a flight or purchase a bag or some travel accessory, these are the conversions that you're looking for. What's really interesting about conversions through affiliate programs is that not only is the blogger earning a commission from every sale, but the data behind it is really interesting as well for your clients. Right? So you can go back to your client and say, well, I've written this blog post about London, and it has generated, say, 10 bookings in the past month or something like that, which is real return on investment for the client. So, you know, I mean, these are things, you know, that bloggers can show as well. And this is, and I think, you know, we're seeing it more and more and more, where people, when they're talking to bloggers, especially from the business side of the industry, so the corporates, they would want to see conversions, and this is a really powerful way to show that you can create conversions, you can drive conversions.
And the blogger is not a travel agent, so it's not his job to drive conversion. It's like an extra add-on value.
Yeah.
I just see a question. So why do people say influencer marketing is dead? Yeah, I guess we should create a discussion.
Yeah. Can we leave that till the Q&A, because it's a really good question. I'd love to respond to it, but not. We'll just continue, and then we'll leave it till the Q&A at the end. And also, then the other thing about bloggers is that, you know, they're constantly looking out. They're collaborating with different companies to create new platforms as well, repurposing their content and doing all sorts of different things. So we're going to show you a couple of case studies here to demonstrate each of these points. So the first one actually is for ideas and concepts. This is Euro Food Trip, which actually won a World Travel Award for it a few weeks ago. And this is where I think, you know, bloggers are travelers. And just like travelers, you know, you don't really see borders. And what we found is that, like, you know, if a U.S. Traveler from the U.S. comes to Europe, you know, chances are they would like to see 3 or 4 different countries instead of just one. So we thought as well, I think, like, especially within Europe, like, collaboration is so important between destinations in different countries, cross-border collaborations. So what we did was we brought Emilia-Romagna tourism and Costa Brava tourism. Costa Brava is in Spain, Emilia-Romagna is in Italy, and we brought them together because both destinations are actually competitors, because they offer basically the same kind of products. Like, they both have beautiful medieval towns. They have amazing food. They've got fantastic art and history, and they both got beaches as well. So we brought these two together to highlight actually that yes, they have similar things, but they also have different shaders. And we took just one theme because it could be very broad. We took one theme, which was food. And was food that combined both destinations. And so it's like the ultimate Euro food trip, you know, to Emilia-Romagna and to Costa Brava. And I mean, the results show for themselves. It was really fantastic. And I think the whole idea behind it was, you know, just driving cross-border collaborations.
Blogville. Yeah, we run this concept 6-7 years, I think now. Yeah. Very interesting is that's one of these concepts which we created just like brainstorming. I was on a conference in Italy, and with me was good friend Cash, the budget traveler, and we've met at that time Nicolas Montemaggi, who worked at the tourism board of Emilia-Romagna at that time. And we were just like, at that time, we were like always getting invited to press trips. And we said, no, we can't do this anymore. It's not really what we are looking for. It's like there's more potential than just like getting us onto trips where we are stuck in an itinerary which we can't really use for our own content to create big storytelling. And we were just like smashing ideas around, and suddenly we said, okay, let's give the bloggers more freedom. Give them an apartment and let them create the itinerary on their own. Let them do what they love, travel and share what they experience. And it was so successful from the first moment. Luckily, the tourism board trusted us. And yeah, since then, we run it with Emilia-Romagna every year. But not just like that, but we also like work, we also there, again, cross collaboration with Tyrol,
in Austria,
Lombardia.
Yeah. And we've brought the Blogville concept to different parts of the world as well, like South Africa, for instance. So other tourism boards pick up this idea of this kind of concept, which is great to see. Yeah, and the numbers, the success of it, this kind of numbers, I mean, they show themselves how good that is. This amount of content, and this content is able to be used by the whole industry, by the tour operators, by the hotels up there. We created ebooks for them, working on microsites and all these kind of things so that you can use the content. It's not just out there on the blogs, but for everyone. Yep. This is a very interesting case study about conversions. for anyone who like doubts that bloggers can drive conversions. This is Amberlair, and this is a project that's quite close to my heart. It is the world's first crowdfunded, crowdsourced luxury boutique hotel. So how it all started was I was approached by Marcus and Kristen from Amberlair, and they came to me with this project and said that, you know, we want to create the perfect luxury boutique hotel, and we want, you know, everyone to give their input about what a luxury boutique hotel would be like. You know, right from the location, right down to the amenities in the bathrooms, and also what the interior should look like, etc. So they actually gathered a group of bloggers, and these bloggers who have luxury travel at their hearts, and asked them to participate as brand ambassadors for Amberlair and to drive discussions and awareness about the concept, and to get ideas from all their readers about, you know, the first step was finding the location of this boutique hotel. They've since found it. It's in Puglia in the south of Italy. And now the next step, which just was a few weeks ago, the crowdfunding phase, and which the bloggers, the ambassadors for Amberlair also drove. And actually I got an email today that, you know, within 10 days they've actually exceeded the target that they were, you know, set out to get from the crowdfunding campaign. So that was brilliant news. But it was actually within 1 week they reached 62%, 10 days, 105% now. So, you know, and this is all really being driven by bloggers. Another small example of conversions. This is from my blog, and I wrote about the Motor Valley in Emilia-Romagna. And as I spoke just now, I mentioned something about affiliate programs. So I subscribe to a few affiliate programs, and for tours, I subscribe to Get Your Guide. And so as you can see right here, what is really interesting is, as I said, the data is really interesting. So in September, I had two of my readers book tours in the Motor Valley, which is what the blog post is about. And I could see that on the dashboard that Get Your Guide provides me with. And you can see how much they paid. I've blocked out how much commission I earned, but it's not a lot. But so you can see that, you know, and this is especially for bloggers, it's really powerful to capture these screenshots and send it to your clients. Because when I saw this, that, you know, I've been getting quite a few bookings from my blog posts, I create these screenshots and I send it to my client, in this case Emilia-Romagna Tourism, to tell them, look, you know, I've written this blog post and these people have actually visited Emilia-Romagna.
Oh, we need to add one more example of that one with the kitchen, with the cooking colors.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, because we've worked with Emilia-Romagna Tourism for many years now, we have plenty of case studies when it comes to conversions. And so one example was one of our bloggers in our network, a Brazilian blogger, Claudia Beatriz. She wrote a post about a cooking class in Bologna. And she's a Brazilian blogger, so I mean, she's got a massive audience in Brazil. And so it was really funny. It was like about 2 years later, I went to that same cooking class, and I was talking to the owner of the cooking class, a lovely lady called Monica. And she told me, oh, when you see Claudia again, could you say thank you for me? And I said, why? What did Claudia do? And so she wrote this beautiful blog post about my cooking class. And she's since then received so many inquiries from Brazilians about the cooking class that she had to expand her business. And she had to find a new location for a bigger kitchen to accommodate all these people coming to her cooking class. So I took out my iPhone, actually, and I said, well, you can thank Claudia yourself, and I just filmed her, and she made this really beautiful video for Claudia, which got her into tears and all that. But, you know, I mean, these are really, really cool examples as well of the value, the ROI that bloggers provide. Here's another one, Love Saba. This is also a campaign which won an award a few years ago. And what is interesting about this campaign is that it was, first of all, with an airline, and it was one of our first airline partners. And it was a combination of an airline and the destination Sabah in Malaysia. And Royal Brunei wanted to promote their flights from London Heathrow with the Dreamliner. They were launching the Dreamliner services and to Malaysia, so to Sabah in this instance. And so we went there, we did this whole campaign together. We coupled it with a contest via Facebook, etc. So it was not only blog content and social media content, but there was the contest as well. So there was a lot of interaction going on. And a year later, they came back to us and said, you know, our bookings have like shot up through the roof in excess of 100%. From London Heathrow to Kota Kinabalu and Sabah. So, you know, in that sense as well, I mean, it's also a really good case study of, you know, conversions driven by bloggers.
So next to iAmbassador, I also run a company, Travel Dudes. That's a social travel platform. It's a guidebook. It's a big community. And we also have a team of content creators. So at ITB, we've met the guys from Amadeus. Everyone knows Amadeus. It's like they handle 50% of worldwide travel. And yeah, they approached us and they have this new video player and we're helping them now. So because we are travelers, we know the digital phase of travel, everything on, well, not everything online, that's too much, but quite a bit of online. And so they asked us, can we do some testing with our new video player? And I said, yes, sure. We created this video in Düsseldorf. We did a couple of different versions for some A and B testing. We put it online. We drive traffic to it. And so we try really to help also the industry to get to new levels again. And for example, this video, that's like, for me, it's like, wow, that's super amazing. Got like an average watch time of 8-9 minutes. And it's like, wow. Yeah. We just try really to help, yeah, not just us, but also our clients, our partners.
Yeah, I think, you know, what's really special about this platform called, well, it's called Destivio now, but when we first started, it was called Travelcast, is that it drives conversions as well. The video is provided by the blogger. The platform basically provides additional functionality. So if you're looking here, you can see tips. Where is it? Yeah, tips, photos, budget, etc. So while people are watching this video, they can actually play around with it. And if they'd like some more information, say for instance, this is Jenna, and she's in the restaurant, and they'd like more information about the restaurant, they can click on a certain button, and there's more information will pop up on the video screen with more information about the restaurant. Same thing goes for hotels or tours, etc. And then at the end, you can also click on budget, and it will tell you like which is the right time to visit Düsseldorf, what are the cheaper times, what's the high season, the low season, the shoulder seasons, and related prices as well. And then you can, through the video, you can actually book hotels and flights as well to Düsseldorf in this case.
Yes, I think also like to add, because with those photos, because you, articles are very good, photos are good, videos are excellent, but like if you have, for example, this restaurant and in a normal video guide, you can show it for a frequency of 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds, and then you have the next scene. Yeah. But people are still interested in that restaurant or maybe in a hotel. And with the photos, for example, you can show maybe different room types or different meals. So you can really keep the people on the platform, on the video, instead of leaving to a different tab and doing a search and maybe ending somewhere else. So yeah, and that's like how you really get the people together. And we changed the format of video style a bit so that we can really make use of this kind of new video player.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we have HipTraveler. So HipTraveler is, they build itineraries, bookable itineraries, and we found a concept where the travel blogger can write articles on their website. HipTraveler is smart enough to catch that content, create itineraries out of it, bookable itineraries, and can present them to the travelers again. And they can create their own itineraries, they can book the flights, accommodation, and the blogger, again, they take a little widget and they put the widget into the blog. So when I write a blog article about London, and I can't include like everything, maybe what I have done on our campaign, but like with this one, I can include even partners which I couldn't promote the best way at that same moment via Twitter or maybe via the article. But like with the Hip trips, you can at least like get them into the itinerary. And they have a very nice function actually for DMOs, for the tourism office for their websites, they can have like a microsite. So they can get even their own audience to write these kind of, or to create their own itineraries or to look for flights and accommodations.
Yeah, so for instance here, there's this example so that would be on the right side. With Great Britain. So we worked with Visit Britain on a pilot project with HipTravel. John is sitting right there. And to build this microsite, which would be a platform to repurpose the blogger's content. So we did this big campaign, this blogger campaign with Visit Britain. And there was all these content that was created. And so what we did was, it was created on the blogs, but what we did was HipTraveler converted these blog posts into bookable itineraries. And what's really cool is that there's a lot of drag and drop on the HipTravel platform. So, these itineraries can be customized. It will show you what you can do in 3 days, for instance. But you can also add on other things to it. Like, you can bookmark it, you can add a tour to it, you can, or you can take something out of it. And so it was really cool, and it was a chance for Visit Britain as well to participate in something that's very new and innovative. But at the same time, it was just maximizing use of the content that bloggers are creating and trying to drive conversions through it. So how to maximize ROI? Yeah, we've been talking about it for quite a while now. But I think we get these questions all the time, like, yeah, I see all these great case studies, but how do you work effectively with a travel blogger? How do you maximize the ROI by working with them? So my first tip always is to do your research.
Read an article, read the tweets, blog. Read the replies. Do they interact?
Yeah. There are so many ways. It's like the most important, obviously, is to read the blog and get an idea of the voice of the blogger. What is this blogger writing about? What is the feel? Do they interact a lot with their readers, both on their blogs and on the social media? And ask for a media kit. In the media kit, all bloggers should have a media kit, and it should contain information about their blogs, about their traffic stats, about the growth of their social media channels, case studies of working with the industry and the results thereof, and some of them also should have have price lists for the different services and products they provide. And also, don't be afraid to ask about a blogger's strengths or even about a blogger's business model. Like, okay, how do you make your money, right? Because it all contributes to getting a really good idea of what this blogger can do for you, and if possible, meet a blogger in person. Well, like at iAmbassador, we work with a lot of bloggers around the world, but I always emphasize the personal contact. We always like to meet the bloggers that we work with, because you want to get not only a sense of the content that the blogger provides or the reach. That's all numbers, and you can read their blog to get a feel for it, but you also want to get a feel for the person that you'll be working with, which I think is the most logical thing in the world. So face-to-face contact is really important as well. And when you're starting out to work with a blogger, first ask yourself, what are my objectives? What do I hope to get out of this partnership? And which is also a very logical thing.
It's communication.
It's communication. First of all, it's like, what do I want to get out of this? Do I want content? Do I want to drive engagement? Do I want to drive conversions? What do I want to get out of this? And then look at the blogger's strengths. What are they good in? And try to match those strengths with your objectives.
Sorry, I missed you.
When you
objectives.
Yeah. No.
Well, yeah. What very, 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 very important is, like, for example, when I get invited into a campaign, especially for video, I need freedom. I need an itinerary which fits my needs. I know my audience. I know the concept how we drive a campaign. So also there again, it goes back to communication. First of all, I want to help our partners. And then I try to create the perfect itinerary around that. I show this itinerary to them, and then we can discuss that again. And also being flexible. Like, the bloggers need a lot of time. A lot of bloggers work alone. They have a full day working with you, but they also need time to run their business.
And to run their social media channels.
And their social media channels. and to update it. So like a typical itinerary starts very early in the morning, and always when there's a little break, the bloggers get online and yeah, creates content also for you.
Yeah. And and the brief should be clear. And these are things that you should be talking to the blogger with. Communication is paramount. Like, okay, what are my objectives? What are the key messages that I want to convey through this campaign or this partnership working with this blogger? And the blogger should be aware of that. So when the blogger is on the road working on this campaign or a partnership, at least the blogger will have already an idea of what's expected of them. So not only in terms of deliverables, but also keeping in mind the key messages that the client wants to convey through these partnerships.
And at the end, you need, after a campaign, you get to a phase where you look at everything again.
Yep.
Like with us, with iAmbassador, we work with a partner in Brand's Eye who help us with our reporting, but we also have an internal reporting, which goes directly, not to just like the opportunities to see, but to the actual reach. Me as travel dudes again, I create a different report. So you don't need like all those official tools which you can get out there for reporting. Some are more expensive than the others. But like for me as travel dudes, when we ended a campaign, we go through every tweet. So also the bloggers who think, oh, that's very expensive, you can do it. Go through every tweet, look out for hashtag, look the reach, the views, put them in an Excel sheet, and deliver a report. Deliver good results of feedback when people said, oh, wow, this is amazing, I want to go there. Very important, give this kind of feedback how successful it was.
Yeah, and obviously, this is. I think it's important as well to have both short-term and long-term targets. What I get a lot as well is that people come to me and say, well, I work with a blogger, and then like the LinkedIn discussion I showed earlier, I created 0 sales. But I think we're selling travel here, not fashion. Travel is not an impulse purchase. It's a longer time before people actually get inspired. They read a post, they feel, oh yeah, wow, let's go to Bologna. Maybe next summer, which is like maybe 6-7 months down the line. So you're not going to get that conversion immediately, but maybe 6-7 months down the line.
And you're never going to see me with high heels in front of the Grand Canyon. Oh, no. Yeah. Seriously, yeah. There's you can see those kind of pictures, and that is not destination marketing. You see beautiful Instagrammers, awesome photos in high heels in front of the Grand Canyon. No, they are not going to fall down there with their high heels. That is more like a fashion way of lifestyle. But if it's destination marketing, you need also the right content for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not fashion, it's travel.
And keep timing in mind. As I said, it takes time before when a blogger publishes a blog post. Here's an example of a Dutch blogger who wrote about Bologna. And he showed us his Google Analytics. And as you can see there, after it was published, it was pretty much a flat line until a year later, and that was in April the following year, when people are starting to plan their summer holidays. And then you see the traffic to that blog post about Bologna take off. So sometimes you need a very long timeline before you can start to see really good results from blog posts. I mean, from social media, you'll get that immediate interaction and all the impressions and all that, and engagement is great. But I think for blog posts, it just takes a longer time before people actually, before the content becomes relevant or that it gains ranking on Google. And remuneration. These are things that should be agreed upon as well before you start working with a blogger, or with anyone in any case. And I think remuneration should reflect the objectives, should reflect the targets, but also another point I wanted to bring is, because this is actually quite normal nowadays, reflect the objectives and targets, but also with bloggers, that you could also put in a performance-based element into the remuneration package that you're agreeing with the blogger. It's a new idea I want to throw into the mix. And we have to move a little bit quickly now. Relationship. As we said, relationship is the cornerstone of, it's like if you want to achieve real ROI, you should think outside of the box. You should think of different ways of working together. Like, even think of brand ambassadorships and build on the relationship. If you've worked with a blogger before and the blogger has done a fantastic job, build that relationship, and keep working together because, you know that this blogger has created this value and you know what to expect. And I think, that's just really the best way to really maximize your ROI. So thank you very much. And we have time now for some questions.
You can use
the first one?
Slido if you still have questions, but we already see some here.
Yeah. So the first question here is how do you quantify AVE from blog social media platforms? Melvin mentioned it earlier. We actually work with a social media tracking company called Brands Eye. They're brandseye.com. And they provide us with a lot of data about social media and the engagements, the reach, etc. And how they do it is, from my understanding, they calculate the advertising value by looking at what Twitter, Instagram, Facebook would charge in the advertising prices, and they calculate the AVE based on that.
Yeah, they compare the reach and everything and get to those numbers. Very good, actually.
In lieu of a media kit, time-consuming always, which tools can you recommend for finding audience insights?
Oh, wow, yeah. Well, I personally, I always go on each channel directly a lot of times. Well, we've got our own reporting, well, that's our own. But I go onto Twitter. I go into Twitter Insights. I go onto the analytics of Facebook and on YouTube. They have some really, and Google Analytics, they have so much info in there. Too much, actually, for me sometimes.
Yeah. Well, with iAmbassador, we have our internal database where the bloggers in our database are all connected. So their social media channels and their Google Analytics are connected. So for us, it's very easy when we're doing a campaign to track all the stats. So that's how we get our stats, Is influencer marketing reserved just for tourism boards and big brands, or can small tour operators tap into it as well? Of course. It really is, that simple. I mean, all you have to do is find the right blogger. Just talk to a lot of bloggers and see which one will fit the profile that you're looking for. And it's it's not only. I mean, I think there are a lot of bloggers out here who also work with small companies. And with Ambulair, for instance, I gave that example. They're a very small company, and but with a concept which many bloggers really feel very passionate about. So if you get your story out there, if you and get bloggers who really reflect what you're trying to portray, I think that's a really good match there. So my suggestion would be really is to go out there and meet a lot of bloggers, just have a chat with them, and try to see what the touch points are.
Yes, and I think especially on those kind of networking events where it's not like the speed networking like this morning where it's ding, 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 ding. Have a conversation, try to find ways. Not a no doesn't need to be a no. You can find ways to work together. A lot of times it's really about communication and helping each other and sharing also like values. So maybe the blogger, you can help also the blogger if you're a tour operator. The blogger might be interested to your audience, so he can create content for you, and the tour operator can maybe post this blog article in their newsletter and stuff like that. It's really about collaboration both ways.
Yeah. How do you just justify quality to quantity seeking clients? Brands are still obsessed with numbers. Or do you want to do the first one? No, that one?
Oh, we can take that.
We can do that one. Okay. Yeah, indeed, numbers. We have that all the time. I always stress the importance of the quality of content, because for me, that's like the real ROI. If you have a really good blog post or a fantastic photo or a video which drives a lot of engagement, for me that's the real ROI, because you're creating a lot of awareness, but you're also getting people excited about the content. And in the end, that will drive numbers, that will drive conversions. So I always say, quality is right at the top. Look for quality, and numbers will follow by itself.
I had a campaign in Belgium, Brabant Walloon, and we created some videos for them, and it's a good example. And they used our videos, and we put it up on our Facebook, and then they also put it up in their Facebook. And they created, I think it was 200, 300,000 views on that one. And that is like, well, at that moment you can like work also like with let's say like an amateur blogger who gets into it, and if they provide good content already, good photos or a good video, you don't directly need like a professional blogger with a bigger audience, but if it's a good audience, good quality, take their content, push it through your own channel, and that's, goes back to the quality, and people love that. They had a very good engagement, very good reach.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do one more question? We've got 37 seconds. Yeah, oh, the very first one. So why do people say influencer marketing is dead? That's a really good question. I for one, do not subscribe to this idea. I think it's far from dead. I don't think I think influencer marketing is here to stay. I think it's becoming more and more mainstream, working with bloggers, because I'm very convinced about the value they bring to the table. I mean, we've gave all these examples, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands more of really good examples of how bloggers are really doing a really good job. And I see, a lot of, I see people who are perhaps not doing it the right way. They're not approaching working with bloggers in the right way. And, or maybe some of them are just jumping on the bandwagon because they see all their other peers working with bloggers or influencers, and they're not quite sure, how to go about doing it. And I think that, research is really important. Before you start working with bloggers, just look around and look at other case studies and just talk to bloggers themselves, talk to us, and get a good idea before you start working with a blogger. I think, if you don't do that and you just start working with a blogger based on numbers, like, well, I want to work with this blogger, or I want to work with this Instagrammer because, she's got 1 million followers or whatever, that might not be, you might get some nice photos, you might get some engagement, but, it might not hit get the results that you are looking for, so, and then you'll be, and then you'll be very disappointed. And I think, these are some of the people who are, shouting out there or creating these discussions about influencer marketing, reaching the end of its lifeline or whatever. But, I personally am very convinced of the value that bloggers can bring to the table. So thank you very much.